This is Sergio from Overtime Heroics MMA. I'm joined today by Bellator Bantamweight John Douma. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Doing pretty good.
So first things first, man. Huge win. How did it feel to get your hand raised after such a long time off?
Um, it's good. A little bittersweet. I expect a little bit more out of myself than squeaking by a split decision, but I'm happy I got my hand raised and back in the win column after a year and a half. Dude, it's been forever, but yeah, it's been good.
Did you feel like any ring rust? Obviously, when you take such a long time off, obviously there's lots of reasons for that time off. Did you feel any of that in the early going of the fight?
I think I don't. I mean, this is the first time I've taken this much time off, so I don't really know what ring rust feels like. You know what I mean? So could have been a little bit of that, definitely. Yeah.
So you're a week removed of the fight. How do you feel overall about your performance? Like you said at the beginning, I mean, obviously you didn't want to squeak by a decision, but overall, are you satisfied with your performance?
Yeah. I definitely there's definitely some things I did that I was really happy with. I felt good. Um, just mistakes, really. I obviously I had my moments in the fight. Um, but yeah, I think I'm more down on myself about like making just little mistakes than actually how I did. I think I performed all right.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I had you winning it as well. If that means anything.
Yeah,
Uh,
because yeah, everybody. Well, I, nobody's watched it more than me. Like I've watched it a million times, and I couldn't. I definitely had it scored my way. Obviously, I'm biased, but um, I thought I definitely won the first two. Strike count was pretty even in the second, and then I got the takedown with the back control. I think that. Plus, I was closer to finishing the fight, so I don't know. I'm pretty convinced I won.
yeah, you had a couple of moments there, once in the first, once in the second, where it was really close. Obviously, like you said, you watch back. Is there anything you can take from that and go back and drill or anything like that? Is there something in particular that happened that you're like, damn, I wish I had done this instead?
Yeah, it was like going back on like my mistakes. Like it was just a matter of like little angles. Like he had his hips down on a weird angle and he was a little bit low. And I just you know, for whatever reason, it was just I was having a hard time adjusting. I think that was one of the biggest takeaways from watching it.
So unlike a lot of fighters that went into that card, you kind of, regardless of whether you win or you lost, you kind of had your back against the wall because your Bellator contract is done. Do you feel like after that performance that you know what, yeah, they should have you back after that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. My first fight with them was on a main event. I only had like four fights or a main card for Bellator for a big name promotion. I went out there and I beat their kid in the first round. Lost my second fight to Jornal Lugo, which I mean I didn't get totally blown out of the water by him, and now he's number 8. And then I just got another win for them. I don't know what much else they're looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. The one thing that really surprised me about you is there's not many fighters who would lose and then sign with Bellator. What went behind that decision? You know, you lost in CES, your first ever loss, and then you signed for one of the biggest organizations in the world. What went behind that decision?
That was all my manager Tyson. Um, that was like I was picked for that Kimball fight. I guess he couldn't get anybody else to fight, and so I was a CES trying to get right back on the next card. And they just kind of ghosted me for the next two cards. So like, all right, we'll look elsewhere. Turned out Kimball was looking for a fight. Uh, he would have taken anybody because nobody else was going to fight him. So I took that fight, got the win, and then kind of stuck with Bellator since.
Yeah, I mean, it's very not many people do it. A lot of people like to take their time and get a padded record, so to speak. You went straight for it, and I think that says a lot about both you as well as most of the guys there signed by Tyson as well. You know, just shoot straight for it. And the same thing with the Bellator fight. I mean, you lost your first or your second Bellator fight. Was there any thoughts of what, maybe I should take a step back, go back to CES or one of these other promotions, or was it just let's keep fighting in Bellator? Doesn't really matter.
Well, this kind of turned out it wasn't really my choice. So I was gonna fight on the CES card in April, and that's when coronavirus happened and everything shut down. So basically, for all this time, nothing was really going on. Bellator started to kick back up. We got a little bit of news from them, like we heard some names, and nothing really came in. And then I got this fight on like 3 weeks' notice. Tyson hit me up, a couple weeks out, and he's like, "Hey, can you do the 9th?" And just so happened that I was coming off of that combat jiu-jitsu match that I did. So I was pretty healthy. I was in great shape, and I thought I had to make 150 for it, so my weight was real low anyway. So we just jumped into that. So nothing really my career. I've just been taking the fights that I can take. Just trying to get what I can get. Just so happens to be, I get lucky most of the time and fight for Bellator.
Yeah, it's awesome. Speaking of the combat jiu-jitsu fight, what went behind the decision in taking that? Was it just trying to stay busy, or was it just something that popped up?
So the kid who was doing it was doing tournaments, like $1,000 cash prize tournaments, and I was doing nothing. Like nothing was going on. I was training like crazy every day. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll get into one of these tournaments, try to make a little bit of money. Then he came across with, we're doing combat jiu-jitsu, and then he gave me Johnny Campbell, and it was like an offer I couldn't refuse. So that happened. That was a ton of fun, and it kind of worked out in perfect timing because then I rolled right into that fight camp.
I know it's only been a week, but have you had a chance to get out on your boat and go fishing?
No, I went. It's still pretty early in the season, but I went the day after the fight, like that Saturday. I went. But it was too early. I didn't get anything.
Man, what is that your biggest hobby outside of fighting? Like, if you can't fight, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, pretty much. That's been there. I mean, I've been doing that since way before fighting. It's my whole life. So yeah, that's definitely my favorite hobby other than fighting. Fighting's more of a job. This is more of a like my getaway.
You train out of Triforce MMA. How big were they in your camp going into this fight?
Dude, they're everything. I mean, it's like I came from Rhode Island knowing nobody, no like martial arts experience other than wrestling. And they've built me into what I am today. I owe almost everything to them. So without them, I wouldn't be fighting or training or doing any of that.
A couple of the other guys you're close to, Rob Font, Tateki Matsuda. How did that relationship come about?
Through Tyson. Well, actually, originally it was through Greg Rebello. When Rob would have when he would fight a wrestler or something, I would go up to wherever he was training and help him get some rounds. And then New England's pretty close knit. So we all, we would always see each other training and stuff like that. Then through that, I got close to Tyson, who eventually signed me into Top Game. And now, like, we say, like, Top Game's, like, we all have our teams, like, wherever we train. Like, I train at Triforce, but my other team is Top Game. Like, we all help each other. We all work with each other. So it's a pretty cool atmosphere.
Yeah, I think New England's very different in that regard. Like, it's so baffling to me. Like, guys from Lausanne's are training with Rob Font, or training with Dragon Layer, and all these different gyms are all intertwined.
I go to Lausanne's most Saturdays. I'm cool with all those guys. Triforce, we bring guys into Triforce. We're all really training together. I'm friends with most guys in my weight class in New England, which is cool because it means we're fighting out, people outside of New England, and then we can work with each other to get better.
I want to do a little bit of a throwback. I mean, if you can look back, what ultimately led you to this sport? I mean, it's such a crazy sport. I mean, you're in New England, right? There's so many other things you could do, and the Bruins are there, the Patriots, all these other sports. Like, it's pretty much the hub of sports, and somehow you fell in love with MMA.
Yeah. Well, I'm originally from New Jersey, so wrestling's pretty big over there. So, I mean, as a kid, I was playing football and all that other stuff, but I'm small. I fight 135 pounds, so nobody really took me seriously in all the other sports. until I found wrestling where I could excel, no matter what size I was. And then from that, just kind of blossomed into fighting.
All right, man. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. For people who maybe haven't seen your fight or any of your fights, describe your fight style.
I guess I'm pretty gritty. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I make it exciting. I'm trying to make it fun. I'm gonna bleed every single time I fight, no matter what happens. Yeah, it's just gonna, it's nothing too pretty. Just gritty fighting. If you like watching fights, and I'm a good guy to watch.
Something about all the guys from that area, like Calvin Cater's the same way. They just like getting in their faces and just fighting.
We all got the same mentality. It's nice. I like it. I like it over here.
Thinking about, 2020 was a down season for you. How quickly would you like to get back in there?
Hopefully by the summer. I don't know if it's up to me. It took me a year and a half to get this fight. Obviously, there's different circumstances than there are now, but I don't want to say I'm just going to jump on what I can get. I mean, for Bellator, yeah, I'll jump on what I can get. But I'm pretty ready to go. I got back to training yesterday. So I'm just going to stay ready and keep my weight low. And, if we hear something, then get back into it. Fighting after, not fighting after a year and a half, you take it for granted that now that I can fight again, I'm like, I'm all excited. So still staying ready.
All right, man. Well, thanks again for the time. Is there, where can people find you on social media?
You could, pretty much Instagram. I have a Twitter, but I don't even really use it. Instagram is just John Douma. So it's pretty easy. Look me up, give me a follow. That's it.
All right, man. Well, thanks for the time. I appreciate it. Been a huge fan, and congrats on your run.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.